Welcome back to the Tea on Recruiting. We're going to be sharing insightful and thought-provoking content that can help you shape your recruiting career. The tea in the title is a subtle reference to the fact that I cannot stop drinking tea.
2 hours later.
And release all of those sounds that are trapped in your mind.
Also, at the end of every episode, we're gonna be spilling some tea. In this episode, perhaps even sooner. Disclaimer: depending on your outlook in life, this episode could result being painful or perhaps entertaining. Definitely, we hope it's gonna be insightful and inspiring for you, as we're gonna be sharing some terrible recruiting mistakes. In fact, the title of the first piece of content in this episode is 13 job interview horror stories from people who definitely did not get the job. Interviews can be straight up terrifying. Some of us are more prone to anxiety, some of us are at the beginning of our careers, and some of us really need a job right now. We've read this Insider article, which is a collection of over 200 anecdotes that Reddit users shared for the world to hear about the worst possible job interview experience that they had. Well, apparently some of these anecdotes revolve around hiring managers and recruiters asking dumb or inappropriate questions. Want to suffer? I bet that we can bond over this painful experience. During a med school interview, a Reddit user was asked how large would the boobs of his ideal woman be. Someone else also shared the tale of a hiring manager forcing them to lie about stealing a toaster. And another user shared the situation in which he was asked if he had a type A personality. He didn't know what a type A personality was, and neither did we. So we Googled it, and here's a definition for you.
The hypothesis describes type A individuals as outgoing, ambitious, rigidly organized, highly status conscious, impatient, anxious, proactive, and concerned with time management. People with type A personalities are often high-achieving workaholics. They push themselves with deadlines and hate both delays and ambivalence. People with type A personalities experience more job-related stress and less job satisfaction.
While the user was mumbling something in response in full-on confusion, the hiring manager straight up looked them dead in the eye and said,
"You don't have a type A personality."
And then they walked out of the room.
How rude!
Now, Insider didn't really get a chance of verifying all of these anecdotes because they were shared by Reddit users. But you'll have to believe me when I tell you that in 2019, I too had a terrible interview experience. Oh God. In fact, the hiring manager asked me if I had a boyfriend and if I had any intention of having children soon.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
I think we've covered the part about
Shitty interview questions?
but there are more issues that we can learn from. Just to mention another episode, a Reddit user straight on had a 20-second freeze up during an interview and almost had a panic attack. I see you staring into your screen and yelling,
"Why would I care?"
but wait up, we're gonna share our second piece of content, and following that, our insights. The New York Times put out a piece called 7 Successful People Dish on Their Worst Job Interviews and What They Learned. Reading what these successful people learned from terrible job interview experiences can actually teach us a lot about candidate expectations. I am probably going to say this wrong, but Mr. Naqshbandi, Chief Marketing Officer at Frank Recruitment Group, which is a niche recruitment agency in tech, remembers feeling incredibly embarrassed for showing up during a job interview with a stamp on his wrist. A stamp from a nightclub. Catherine Rose in 2016 had an interview with the principal of a law firm, and at the very end he said, "Well, if you're looking for a job for mother's hours, this is not it." When she was younger, Anna Marie Dooling was refused a job because of all of her tattoos. And I quote, "You should think about what you've done to your body and how unprofessional it is." As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. This article can do two things for you. It can make you feel great about your skills, and it can also teach you things to improve at your job. Some of these pointers are more obvious than others. Point number 1 is respect your candidates. They're humans too. Pointer number 2 is put them at ease. They're probably incredibly nervous, and it's going to be even more difficult if they feel like they cannot bring their whole selves to the interview, because that means that they cannot bring their whole selves to work. Point number 3 is don't waste their time and be transparent. What's your culture? Do you expect them to show up with a suit, or is it more of a t-shirt, Converse, and jean culture? What are your office hours? Is it more 9 to 5, or is it more like 9 to 9? Having your candidate know these things can actually help you find the best possible fit for your job description and can spare them some embarrassment. On to Candy Crush.
Candy Crush!
The more barbaric your treatment of candidates, the more demonic their reviews on your Glassdoor page. And here is a nasty review we're gonna share with you today. Shout out to a company we won't name. We're now referring to a candidate who received a job offer and declined it after a 2-week-long selection process. They were being selected for a role with a salary of $70,000. They were then told that it would actually be $50,000 to $60,000 because they'd made a mistake. Then they told the candidate that they wanted them for $50K. Get your stuff together. I believe in you. Got something to say about this? Drop a comment below. We'd love to pick your brains. I mean, we can only get better at helping you get better with your help. To get more awesome content, subscribe to our newsletter. You can find it linked below or at start.com/newsletter. Thank you for watching. See you soon and take care.